Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. In this video, I'm going to show you why the Casper bull run has actually started and the time before the bull run has come to a completion. So, for those of you who have been following my channel, are well aware of this bounce here. So, this is the final bounce that precedes the Casper bull run. So if we jump back to the very beginning of the Casper chart, that is this area right here, we can see that Casper has a repetitive macro structure. So it starts off with a bull run, goes into a decline, it goes into a sideways range-bound time. Now, I divide these larger sections into smaller fractals. It then repeats another bull run and another decline and another sideways range-bound time, followed by a third bull run that is very, very, very large. So we have completed all this right here, the sideways range-bound time, and we have completed this bounce. So Casper, since this entire structure has been repeating this whole process all over again. After this decline of this bull run, we went into each one of these fractals, and we have currently just finished this one, or if you will, this is the same one over here, the final bounce before the bull run. Let's jump back to where we are today. So here is that fractal, the final bounce or the larger bounce before the bull run begins. Now I have taken this fractal and matched it to today's timing height and depth. Just to be clear, it is this one right here. Now in this one, it drops much lower than it did on today's chart. Why didn't it drop on today's chart? Well, the reason why is because whenever a fractal repeats, the timing, height, and depth, those parts of the fractal do not copy over from the original structure. Those will be unique. They'll be original every single time a fractal repeats. So what that means is a fractal can play out on a larger scale or a smaller scale, or parts of a fractal can move up higher or lower. So with that liberty, we see that this right here has completed, but it did not get the drastic move down that we saw this time around. And that is because the depth, remember timing, height, and depth, they're unique, on today's chart did not go as deep. Let's zoom in and examine this structure. So here is a zoomed in look at that termination point of the bounce. And as you can see, we have all the parts. We have this bounce here. We have this wave right here. We have this wave right here. We have this one. Now, today's chart moved up higher than it originally did. That's why I had to stretch this part out quite a bit more. And that is because the timing, height, and depth, they are original every single time a structure repeats. However, once it reached this part, it fell right back in line, doing what the structure should do. So even here, we have this bounce here, we have this little wave right here, and then it goes up again here, and then it declines, and we even have that decline complete over here. So it was much less depth than I personally thought was going to play out, and I am used to this kind of stuff happening. And what threw me off was the size of this part. I just figured, well, that ratio is maybe going to continue onto this part, but nope, it didn't. It did not. This whole part was much, much shorter. However, we can see that even with it being unique, it still completed all the parts of the fractal. They're all here. And that is what leads me to conclude that this structure, even though it did not go as low as I thought it would, is indeed complete. Now, what is this over here? Okay, so this is officially opening up a new chapter in the Casper structure. What you are seeing here is the very first time I'm showing this on my YouTube channel. Okay, allow me to explain what this is. what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back to the large bull run that took place in the beginning because that is the most defined. So here we are back at the large bull run. This is the very beginning part. Here is that bounce that we were just examining. Now I am on a 5-minute candle. That is the most I can zoom in on CoinTrader Pro. Now there are 3 parts to this structure. I'm going to call them levels. You can call them waves. So here is level 1 right here. Here is level 2, and here is level 3. Now I'm going to copy and paste this fractal onto today's chart so we can get a good understanding of where we are. And in so doing, I'm going to throw out 2 different possibilities for your consideration. So here we are with those fractals copy and pasted from that large bull run onto today's chart. Now, for the sake of clarity, instead of copying a 5-minute candle, I'm copying an hour candle so there's less noise. So it is my belief that we have completed level 1 right here. Price moved up just like it did here. And then we have potentially the second level right here that is potentially already complete. And the third level. So we have potentially completed both these levels. If we have, price should move up and move into the next structure. Now, before the next structure, there is this potential pullback that could take place. We will discuss this structure once we enter into that structure. So the other option is this. We have completed level 1, and with this move up, I have just made this fractal larger. We have potentially completed the second level or wave, and if that is the case, price would move up and then consolidate again. And in that consolidation, it may go back into this consolidation zone and even potentially drop. Why do I say that? Well, if we go back further to the second bull run that took place, this whole structure right here plays out in a very, very short time. It's very difficult to see. Here is that bounce. Here we are zoomed in. Here's that first level, here's the second level, and the third, and this one comes crashing back down, goes flat before moving back up. There's that little pullback that takes place before entering into the next structure. This pullback right here. So if this one is playing out, we would see price move up again. Similar to this right here, it pull back into this space and potentially drop even further. There we have it, folks. We have 2 possibilities. This is option 1, where we have completed level 1, level 2, and level 3. If this is the case, price will move up beyond here and have that potentially little pullback before moving into the next structure. If it's option 2 over here, we have completed level 1 and level 2, we would then see a move up and a consolidation that is similar to this one potentially. It could potentially also come back down lower. We'll have to see how that plays out and then go flat maybe even before moving up and then doing that little consolidation before going into the next structure. How can we tell the difference? Well, first off, if we are doing this one, it should move above here and then have that consolidation above here. If it is this one, option 2, it will move up, but it will consolidate most likely back into this zone. And the consolidation could potentially resemble this. It could also drop even more. All this is just part of the course of the Casper bull run structure. The Casper bull run structure starts off slow with these type of moves up and consolidation. As it progresses into the bull run structure, the move ups become more extreme and the pullbacks also become more extreme. That is something you need to be aware of. Now, once we get to the peak, the Casper bull run becomes extremely difficult to navigate. For those of you who are interested in selling into this bull run, you are going to have a challenging time, and I cannot emphasize that enough. It's going to be very difficult because this structure moves very quick at the end. I have created a 4-part series where I deep dive into the Casper bull run structure. My goal with this series is so that you can navigate the coming bull run, the bull run that we're in, and set your own exit points and be successful in setting those exit points. I have this on my Patreon. You can find my Patreon at patreon.com/the chart historian. This is one of my collections. I also have one for the XRP bull run. So that is something to think about. I will be covering this structure as it develops. I'll be covering each structure as we get to it. So if you do not wish to join my Patreon, it's a $5 a month subscription. You can always just follow me on my channel here, and eventually we'll get to each of those structures. But I must once again iterate that this structure plays out quickly near the end, and near the end is where you get a lot of the price movement. So something to think about. So it's exciting times. We'll have to see which option. This is option 1, and here is option 2, where we have only completed level 2. We'll have to see which one plays out. I'm open to either. If you found this video helpful, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. I'm not a financial advisor. If you enjoy this type of TA and you're not a subscriber yet, I recommend hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to continue to follow this chart as it continues to develop. We have exciting times ahead. We are officially in the first structure of the bull run. I don't know how high this bull run will go. We'll have to see. What I plan to do is whatever price this bull run ends up going to, I will use the structure as my guide to know when to exit Casper. I plan to sell my Casper in this bull run. I do not wish to keep it because this has potential to crash quite drastically. As we can see in all these instances, it does crash quite spectacularly. That's just me. Everyone has a different plan, so do your plan, but you do want to be aware of how this structure plays out and the volatility that takes place. And by the way, this bull run structure is the same as this bull run structure and this bull run structure. They're all the same structures. So the coming structure will be this same one too. Just as this bounce was the same as we just completed, this right here was the same. It's all the same. It's just repeating on a larger scale. That's all it's doing. Well, I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.